when it's time to party, we party hard here at the Review Realm.
Really hard.
Actually, no, it's 10 o'clock in the morning on a Sunday.
Some of us actually have to work today, but you're not alone. Do not forget that.
We're here to talk about Andrew W.K's 5th album, You're Not Alone. From my understanding, this is his first album in 12 years.
Is really that the length between both of them? Oh, wow.
That's a long time.
Well, I guess he's been partying way too hard.
That's definitely the message he likes to send throughout his albums, and definitely what is known for, just that whole party rock vibe, and that it's always going and the train never stops. But let me tell you something about this album. I think it stinks.
This album starts off as a party that you don't want to go to begin with, and it just snowballs downhill from there.
I was so surprised listening to this. I never heard that many bad things about him. I knew what his message was, and personally, I'm not all for that kind of life.
But he's supposed to be a very optimistic, positive. He's a great guy from what it sounds like. I think that's what kind of hits me listening to this album. That someone like this puts out something that's just,
And being at his first album in 12 years, I was like, alright, this is my chance to finally see what he's all about.
Besides AC/DC, I think Andrew W.K is the only artist I know that can use the same word in every song on their album. Because AC/DC has several songs on a few of their albums that have rock and roll in it. Mm-hmm. And I think Andrew W.K. and the word party shows up more on this album than any AC/DC album.
So it's safe to say that we both think this album is not good. So let's exactly get into, oh my god, 16 songs?
Oh wow.
Are you kidding me?
Oh boy.
52 minutes in length? I was like, I read the track list, I was like, holy crap, that's a lot of music.
Yeah, for something like this, that's a lot.
But given a few of these tracks are just spoken word, so technically it's 13 songs.
Yeah.
Pretty much. The first one's an introduction, so essentially 12 songs.
So the first couple songs, The Power of Partying and Music is Worth Living For.
The Power of Partying, I'm like, okay, of course the first word is party, and it just keeps repeating over and over.
Yeah, but then it goes right into Music is Worth Living For. And listen to these two songs back to back, I thought I had put on a Dragon Force album. Because it was kind of like had that power metal kind of sound to it. Big symphonic, heavy guitars. And it was alright.
And that was the first single. What I noticed right off the bat is how layered the vocals are. It's so layered, but yet it's drowned out by the music. And so I had a hard time understanding what he was saying.
Yeah, that's another thing with this album. I think whoever mixed this album needed to really pay attention a little more because
the production's not good.
If you were to pay attention to each instrument, if you can, it's not bad. The instruments are recorded fine. It's during the mixing process, I feel like they just kind of didn't really put too much effort in.
And Never Again, which was the second single here, that's when I definitely concluded that I was like, alright, the production on this is not good. And, for someone who's a multi-instrumentalist and a producer, I'm surprised that, it doesn't have a better quality sound to it.
Yeah, I would expect something a little higher quality.
I don't know anything is a little bit more energetic than the last one, so the songs before that are kind of just going through the motions, okay.
Again, the beginning of it, it's oh, let's go to a party. I'm not feeling like going to this party tonight. Well, I'm taking you with me. I guess I have no choice. And that's the feeling when this album starts. When you go to a party you don't want to go to begin with.
Yeah. And Andrew W.K. is classified as hard rock. That's way too far from the truth. I'm like, this is not hard rock.
No, this is literally, you showed me an old song of his, because I've never listened to any of his music, and I'm like, this is party rock. Not trying to quote LMFAO here, but that is straight party rock.
And then the feeling of being alive is just spoken word, just trying to send an overall positive message, which you see quite a bit throughout this album.
The one thing I noticed as I listen to this album, and every video I've ever seen, every interview I've ever seen of him, he almost comes off as a televangelist. Except his message is partying, but he's not.
Okay.
But he's not like a frat boy partier. He's just a positive. We're alive and we should enjoy ourselves being alive, which is a great message I think overall in this album. Probably the best aspect of his album is his message, to be honest with you.
I agree with that. Party mindset is so repetitive.
Yeah, that's the one with all the lyrics over and over again.
If you put this on at a party, you'd be a laughing stock.
And you talk about the people who listen to party music where it's all repetitive. Yeah.
And 6 songs in, I'm surprisingly, this is the most catchy one so far.
Yes, happens to be pretty catchy. But it's very repetitive, and you could just tell. This is where the album, I think, starts to change a little bit in its sound.
Yeah. And it's not an album if these two songs didn't have the word party in it, and the next one being The Party Never Dies. And the music just continues to be bland.
The Party Never Dies is where I think the party should have died. This would have been if this was like an EP and track 7 was the end of it, I would have been like, okay.
It's all about partying, but I feel so bored listening to it.
Again, this is where you want to leave the party, and now we're pushing 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock at night. And you're like, when can I go home?
Give up on you. I was honestly about to give up on the album.
Yeah, I think that's the message. The Party Never Dies is where the party should have died. Giving up on you is where we should have stopped. And we should have just reviewed the greatest hits of Tears for Fears.
But like with that one, I was like, oh my god, a guitar solo. Where was the guitar? The whole entire album. Keep on Going, that's another one that tries to send that positive message.
Did not want to keep on going. Did not want to keep on going by
it's like
one.
The album is mocking me. In Your Darkest Moments, more spoken word.
At this point, this is where it's like 12, 1 o'clock, 1:30 in the morning, and the drugs are coming out, and people going to other rooms, and you're sitting on the couch because your buddy drove you, and he said he would take you home at a reasonable time, and now you're sitting there and you're getting really pissed off. Which leads us into The Devil's on Your Side, which when I heard this song, I thought the album had finished, and I thought it had gone to some 80s Folgers commercial.
Way too repetitive.
Yeah, actually, it sounded like you said. It sounded like a commercial jingle. That's exactly what I'm like. Wow, why is there a Folgers commercial? Oh no, that's the album's still going. Now it's 2 o'clock.
I mean, it has those two almost like different sections there, right in the middle and like kind of towards the end that tries to make it a little bit interesting.
And it got really poppy somewhere in between there.
Break the Curse, another really long one, and that's the longest song on the album too. On there.
Obviously, by track 12, The Curse is Not Broken on this album.
And that's a slow one too.
And it wasn't bad, but it was just kind of like, the party's over, and I'm still here, and I don't want to listen anymore. But I had to.
Total Freedom, I'm like, I can't take much more of this. That one, I was like, the lyrics I thought were cringy. Beyond Oblivion, I was like, whoa, am I listening to Trivium because it's the same name as their last album? No, you're not.
There's a little bit of a cock tease.
The Beyond Oblivion was an instrumental one, and that's honestly my favorite. The song with no lyrics
that was
is my
the best
favorite
track on that album.
Like, it was catchy. Like, I think it had something behind it. It didn't need any of these lyrics about positivity or partying or whatever the hell you want.
The most positive track was the one that wasn't given a verbal message.
Confusion and Clarity, spoken word, again.
Why do we need 3 of these?
I don't think it was necessary. I would think if you wanted to have these messages in these songs, put them in with the song.
Or put on a spoken word.
Don't make them with its own track. I mean, I like the message behind each of these. 16 songs is not appealing to like the general listener these days.
If you want to do spoken word albums, Jim Morrison of The Doors did it years ago. No problems doing that. But I feel like with this album, even if you like this album, I feel like it kind of like kills the flow of it a little bit. Even though I had a tough time listening to this album, I think it still flowed pretty well. And every time there was a spoken word, it was kind of like...
It kind of just stops, right? Stops right in the tracks, yeah. Finally, the title track. You're at the finish line. Thank God. But his vocals actually shine the most, I think, on this one for me.
Yeah, I would say that with that one. Yeah, if you didn't like this album, you're not alone.
Not worthy, or realm worthy. Absolutely not worthy.
Most heinously not worthy.
I'm sorry to say that, but I mean, we were due for an album that was not worthy.
We don't like this album. We still advise you guys to go check it out and tell us what you think. Again, I think the biggest disappointment was this. Andrew W.K. has this very positive message he likes to send, and with music like this where it doesn't make me too positive about the message going out.
Yeah. And now answering that age-old question that we like to ask ourselves in each and every video of, does it dadcore? And by definition, dadcore is...
You were a frat guy in the 90s, and now you're married and have kids, and you want to reminisce about your old times when you were being freshmen and playing football. Dadcore's hard. If you were in a frat house, if you were in a fraternity 25 years ago, and you played football, you did, you had the initiations to bring people into the frat house, you dated somebody who was in a sorority, you married somebody who's in a sorority, and now you have a house with kids and you don't do anything from 25 years ago except reminisce with your old buddies having a good old PBR, this album deadcores.
Okay, it does deadcore.
And even though we don't like this album, definitely check out the album, like our Facebook page, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and share with your friends.
Even after what we may have said to upset the Andrew W.K. fan, we advise you to share your feedback on us with what you think of the album, whether positive or negative. We always like to hear from you guys.
You're not alone.